Hello, truth seekers. Lawrence here, and welcome to Easy Enlightenment. So, if you want to overcome the inner conflict and fear in your life, then you gotta meditate right. Yes, you gotta meditate right. There are two kinds of meditation: inward and outward meditation. And most of the time, even what you think of inward is still an outward meditation practice. Now, let me explain further. Outward meditation is when you are meditating on something, like you inviting the mental layer and making that as a focal point and concentrating on that. That kind of practice still an outward journey because you're inviting the layer and focusing on that and stuck on that. So basically that inviting the layers becomes a wall. You cannot go further. You're just concentrating. Yes, definitely. This kind of meditation does help you to invite that sense of ease in the body. You can invite calmness. You can settle your breath. You can basically you are anchoring the awareness. You're not allowing your awareness to visit everywhere. And when you gain this kind of result from the uh, technical meditation practice or the layer practice, when you be part of the outward journey, you are able to anchor yourself in the outward journey. You are able to sustain your focus, and that also becomes a meditation. The outward journey also becomes a meditation. You can already realize that, isn't it? Focusing on something that you like and able to prolong the practice makes you see the details of the practice. Eventually you become the master of your craft. You can just be part of your outward journey and focus. That is a meditation, focusing on something. Or you can get a help by having that mental focus, meditating on something within, gaining the concentrative power to apply in the world. So these are all meditating on something. So when you are meditating on the layer, it's an outward meditation. And this kind of meditation doesn't dissolve the inner conflict and fear. And you are the witness of that practice, isn't it? If you have been meditating for a while, you know that meditation, the focusing on something, meditation doesn't help you dissolve the mental fluctuation, the emotional fluctuation, which is basically the fear. Fear is the root cause of the mental and emotional chaos. So, until we shift the gear and concentrate on ourselves, concentrating on ourselves is the meditation that we need to dissolve the fear, to see the root cause of the fear and eventually eliminate the root altogether. And this is the meditation that you don't need to invite mental layers. It is without the mental layers. Yes, we need a reminder in the beginning to be part of the practice. But after being part of the practice, there is no mental layers is there. So this is the one that helps you create the real inward journey towards the truth. Truth is within you. So to figure out the truth, you don't want to create the wall by adding another mental layer. Holding on to the mental layer is is the suffering already. And spiritual freedom is about removing the mental layers to see the truth of who we are. And who we are is not the mental identification or the physical identification. We are beyond all layers, all meanings. So, how to go to the non dual state of who we are is through dismantling the duality. Mine is the duality. Mine is the yes and no preferences, yes and no belief. So, first, we have to meditate on ourselves. This is simply about watching yourself, watching without controlling your breath, watching without controlling the body, watching yourself without manipulating yourself, just simply watching. And this is the start of the meditation, start of the inward meditation. Watching yourself is already moving away from stepping back away from the world and not stepping back away from the mind. Yes, in the beginning it's hard to focus on yourself and staying empty. That's the hardest thing to do. Why? Because we are already conditioned to so much layers in life. Who we are is a conditioned self. That conditioned self is coming from the place of experience. We go through so much experience in life, and there are experiences that we go through leaves that dent in us, isn't it? And those are the experience that leaves a residue as an idea. And and who we are right now is the upgraded ideas, upgraded experience. When you ask yourself, who am I right now? How do you respond to that? You said, I am this and that. And this and that is what? Is your upgraded self, refined self. So that's the scenario right now. That is the conditioned self coming from the place of experience. And the experience is always upgrading, and every upgraded experience refines who we are right now. And it is not satisfactory. It doesn't dissolve the fear. Again, the question comes down to this, that whatever we have become so far, is it helping us to be free from the fear that is within? And the bitter truth, the answer is no. The the upgrade that we go through in life doesn't dissolve the fear. The seeking upgrade, it already comes from the place of fear. Our fear that we have is making us to catch up with the world and upgrade yourself, climb up the ladders, go to the top, and that is is the world right now. That is our life happening, coming from the root, which is the fear. To see what I'm saying is true, you have to ask yourself, why am I seeking nonstop? Why am I seeking bigger, better? Why am I rushing? Yeah, it's the fear. And a spiritual journey comes in life as a reminder to figure out the truth, and truth will help you dissolve in a conflict and fear. And it does. It does. The truth dismantles all mental and emotional um, construct construct in the person. Only truth makes the person be free from all construct. And that is enlightenment, that is spiritual freedom, that is true freedom, that is true happiness. Happiness that is not changing at all, it's constant. So, how to get there? That's the question, right? How to be happy truly, how to be free, how to dissolve the fear. Dissolving the fear is happiness, isn't it? When you're not going through the fear in your life, you are in ease. That is happiness. So, how to get here? And that's why you have to start meditating on yourself rather than meditating on something else. So, meditating on yourself is the first inward journey. And that is anchoring your awareness in you. Witnessing or any meditation helps you to anchor yourself. But after settle, what's the next step? And this next step is all, most of the time is discarded or don't have the clue that this is important for many. So, once you are able to witness yourself and you can keep your awareness to yourself, then you have to be aware of the mind and you have to trace your mind backward. Now, this is meditation. Tracing the mind backward is the inward meditation to figure out the root cause of the suffering, root cause of the fear. Rearranging the mind, upgrading the mind is not freedom. It's egotistical freedom. Rearranging the mind only works to a certain extent in the outward movement to create an outward freedom. But the inner freedom, rearranging the mind, is not freedom. Or looking into the mind to find the truth is not freedom. Because you cannot find the truth in the mind because the mind is already false, that comes from the place of experience. Your experience is building up the mind. So when you look for the answer in the mind, that itself is looking into the illusion. So what you get from the mind is another illusion. Yes, it may be upgraded mind ideas, but still the mind, and all mind is an illusion. So people sit in the meditation, they sit and witness themselves. That's the good start. But while witnessing, the mind, the ripples of the mind is still playing inwardly. And when the people see the spontaneous mind coming in, or the highest mind coming in, the refined mind, and people think this is the way to get to the truth as well. But truth is not the mind, truth is not the idea to resurface in the mind. It cannot happen. It won't happen. So, when you are quiet in the meditation and you spontaneously get this idea that will work for you in your life, and you see that as intuition or wisdom, highest wisdom, that is simply the mind. Mind is the universe. You get all sorts of meaning, upgraded ideas, meaning. And it depends on where you are in life and what you need. If you sit quietly, those things will happen. But again, that is not freedom at all. That is just a little help for your outward journey to continue the struggle, not to end the struggle, to continue the struggle. So, solution is witnessing yourself. That's you're good at right now. But the next step is you need to witness your mind. Your fear is the mind. Your fear is the byproduct of the mind, which is the mind. So, the direct approach to get to dissolve the fear is by you know watching the fear and dismantling the fear. Fear is there in your life, no doubt. Just accept it. There is fear. Even you have made so much things in your life is free in a relative sense, but not in the truest sense. You have now the fear of losing it. Fear of so many things is still there. So fear is there. Whether you're poor or rich, fear is there. So to dissolve the fear, to be free from the fear, you got to witness your fear. And you meditate on your fear by questioning yourself and to trace it backward to see the root cause of the fear. So ask yourself, why? Why do I have this fear? Whatever fear that you are going through in your life at this moment, why do I have this fear? Now, this why will help you to see the reason to have the surface fear. By the way, when you are questioning, you are watching yourself. Your awareness, your consciousness is being conscious of your meditation, the inward meditation that you're creating with this why. So you're watching and questioning, watching and dismantling, watching, tracing the mind backward. Tracing the mind backward is meditation. So ask yourself, why do I have fear? There's a reason. Now, why is that reason important? There's another reason. So keep using the answer to go all the way back to see the root. And once you see the root, remember, spiritual journey is asking you to let go. Letting go is freedom. But now, once you see the root, letting go idea creates another fear in your life, isn't it? Especially when the layers are helping you to maintain certain comfort in your life, your ego self will reject the idea of letting go. The ego self will make you latch onto that comfort even more now. And some people will just reject the spiritual journey at this moment because of the fear of letting go. Letting go means anchoring into the unknown. And unknown is scary for the ego self. Ego thrives on the layer and build the kingdom out of that single layer. And letting go means death of the ego. When this idea, letting go or death of the ego is there, the ego is crazily defensive within and with the world. So when you realize that you have to let go, this is where you have to stay. You have to keep watching yourself and keep investigate further. Now, why am I scared of letting go? Letting go is about investigating the mind to see the nature of the mind, to differentiate truth from the false. That's the spiritual journey. It's about investigating to find out the truth. But when the idea of letting go is there, people are already scared and give up and resist and run. Running, resisting, and controlling is already the ego doing the work. And that kind of work makes you struggle. The struggle never ends, the fear never ends, the conflict never ends, the drama never ends. And you know it. Your life is that. But you can change it. You can be free. You can be happy by working on your fear, to trace the fear backward, by examining the fear, to see its root and dismantling the root all the way until nothing is left. This is the way to be thorough of the mind. You have to be thorough of your mind because you see the mind is real right now. And from the spiritual context, mind is false, but you see mind is true. So whether it's true or not, self-examining or examining the mind is the way to see the nature of the mind, whether its mind is changing or unchanging. Not just that, what we believe is true or not. That's the whole spiritual journey. Thoroughness is important in the enlightenment journey. To enlighten yourself, you gotta be thorough. That's how you gotta enlighten yourself. If you're not thorough, you won't be able to see yourself. So thoroughness of the mind is important. So right now I'm asking you to face your fear. Right? Now there are so many friction that you will experience in your life again and again. So you have to trace your experience back. Keep your awareness to yourself, trace it back. So if you make this habit of tracing the mind backward, tracing your experience backward, you will eventually realize that no matter what you trace back, eventually lead you to the same thing. That indicates that you have been thorough of your mind. Now, if you are able to get to the same point after dismantling the mind, then when you ask yourself, who am I? This who am I will create the paradigm shift in you. Because that's where you see the truth. That's where you catch yourself. That's where the ego realizes that the ego self cannot comprehend the truth, and that's where the ego gives up the control, gives up the resistance, gives up the running act. The truth makes all the mental and emotional narratives, the drama, to drop in you. That is the aha moment. And this can only happen when you see the truth. And only truth makes your inner conflict and fear to dissolve completely. You become the fearless self. You become the self without the mind. That which you are always been. That's the true nature. Nature without the mind. Your true self without the mind. Okay? So, there are two kinds of meditation: meditating on something and meditating on yourself. Inviting layer and getting getting focusing on something is outward journey. That journey never leads you towards the truth. But meditating on yourself and then tracing the mind backward leads you to be free within and outside. Okay, I hope this video makes sense. I hope this video is supporting your inward journey. So yeah, that's all in this video, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care for now. Bye.